Hi, Ed here from keywordspeopleuse.com, and I've got an exclusive time-limited offer for you. If you book a product demo with Keywords People Use, I'll give you a free 7-day trial of our standard plan, which allows you access to our new content optimization tool. This tool hooks into your Google Search Console data so we can find all the keywords you're ranking for and what pages are ranking. We then crawl your site content and use advanced machine learning techniques like embeddings and cosine similarity to find you content optimization opportunities that will quickly boost your impressions and clicks from Google. This new feature in Keywords People Use is already showing results for people using it. Don't miss out on the opportunity of a 7-day free trial. Just go to keywordspeopleuse.com/demo to book your slot. That's keywordspeopleuse.com/demo. You'll find the link in the show notes of this episode. Hello and welcome to SEO is Not That Hard. I'm your host Ed Dawson, the founder of the SEO intelligence platform keywordspeopleuse.com, where we help you discover the questions people ask online and then how to optimize your content to build traffic and authority. I've been in SEO and online marketing for over 20 years, and I'm here to share the wealth of knowledge, hints and tips I've amassed over that time.
Hello, welcome back to SEO is Not That Hard. It's me here, Ed Dawson, as always. And today we're on to part 7 of our mini-season on entities. So over the last episodes, we've built up a really powerful theoretical foundation. So we started talking by defining an entity as a thing, not a string, just a real world concept. Search engines, AI now prioritize over simple keywords. We explored how machines learn to read and link these entities to a universal database of knowledge. So we went inside Google's entity database, the knowledge graph, and we saw how it uses these entities throughout its modern search results pages. Finally, we ventured inside the black boxes of those LLMs to learn how they represent entities on a vast map of meaning like vector space, and why grounding it in factual reality by verifying the information that comes back to other websites and sources is so critical, that factual grounding. So we've covered the what and the why. So now it's time to get more practical. Now it's time for the how. So this is where all this theory gets real. Over the next 4 episodes, we're going to build an entity to a flagship plan step by step. And this is your practical guide to implementing everything we've learned. And any good strategy in business or in SEO begins with one thing, and that's analysis. So before we can optimize, before we can build, to know exactly what we're working with. So today we're going to conduct an audit. We're going to define and map out your personal or business's entity landscape. So I want you to think of your business as a universe. So at the center of that universe are the handful of core concepts that's going to give it shape and meaning. These are your core entities. So getting them is like trying to build a solar system without a sun. It's not going to happen. Everything else will just float aimlessly with no center of gravity to base around. So our goal with this episode is to give your universe that center of gravity. We're going to get incredibly clear on the people, the products, the concepts, which are the foundational pillars of your brand in the eyes of modern search engines like Google and the LLMs. So you might want to grab pen and paper or open up a new document or a spreadsheet on a computer. We're going to go through this together. And the process is really straightforward, but the clarity it provides can be real and to really set the game apart. So we're going to break down your entity universe into 4 key categories, or what we can call the 4 pillars. So let's start with pillar 1, which is your brand and product entities. This is the most obvious starting point, but it's important to be thorough. This pillar is going to define what you are and what you sell. First of all, we start by listing your official company name or your organization name. This is your primary organization. But don't stop there. We think about all the variations. So do people use an abbreviation? Do you have a nickname? List all those too. However you are known, list them. Next, move on to our products and services and be specific. So if you sell shoes, don't just write down shoes. List the specific product lines and model names. For example, if you have a Nike, your list won't be just shoes. It'll include like Air Max, Nike Low, Nike Refcon. Each of these is distinct entity and it's got its own audience and search intent for different people, different groups of people, and to gravitate towards different shoes. So this is where you list any sub-brands or partner brands that you're closely associated with, such as tech companies. You want a specific name of your flagship software, or for a restaurant, it might be the name of your signature dish. So take a minute, just jot down sort of 5 to 10 of the most important brand or product entities and be as specific as you can. This list forms kind of a commercial core to your entity landscape as you're defining it. So that moves us on to pillar 2, your people entities. Now this pillar is really important, especially today where expertise and trust are much more important than ever. And this pillar defines who you are. Remember, we heard me talk about Google's EEAT, it's expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness guidelines. People entities are really important and most direct way to signal all 4 of these. Search engines want to see there are real, credible experts behind your content and your brand. Let's look who are the key people in the organization. Obviously, start with your founders or your key executives, your CEO, your CTO, if you're an organization that large, your head of marketing. These individuals are entities and they're directly linked to your main organization entity. Next, probably the most important ones, these are your subject matter experts. Identify who the people are who are actually writing your blog posts, hosting webinars, speaking at conferences, the people who the real authors, experts in the products and services that your business are involved with. Every one of these is a coach and person entity that could build authority. And then think about anyone in your company who has a public-facing role who is recognised for their expertise. You actually clearly identify these people on your website. You're not just putting names on a page, you're creating a network of trust signals that tells Google, basically find here is backed by these credible, experienced individuals. So go ahead with the key people associated with your brand. Even if it's just you as a solo founder, you are a critical entity. If you're a solo founder, you are the most critical entity. This moves on to pillar 3, your service and concept entities. So this is where we're moving away from physical, concrete things into more definitions. So this pillar defines what you know and the problems that you solve. So for a service-based business, this is straightforward. It's a specific service you offer. So like a digital marketing agency, wouldn't just be an agency. Its service entities would be search engine optimization, paid click advertising, content marketing, whatever the specialities of the specific services are that you offer. And you could potentially break those down within as well. So within search engine optimization, you might be a link building specialist, or you might be a content specialist, or you might be a technical audit specialist. You can break down within these. And this pillar also includes concept entities. Now, these are broader idea areas. They're like things like theories of industry topics that businesses lack. These are often the things that customers are searching for when they don't yet know what they need your specific product. So let's go back to coffee example from episode 1. The product entities for the coffee beans, the brewing equipment, or the concept entities are things like espresso, pour over, Sumatra, and barista. A website that demonstrates deep knowledge of these concepts is going to be seen as a proper authority in the coffee world. For a financial advisor, though, the service entities might be retirement planning or wealth management. The concept entities would be, during the US, they'd be like 401k or Roth IRA, more widely like investment strategies and market volatility. All things that you could be talking about. These are all entities that you're talking about on your website. And then think about your niche. What are the core ideas, methods, or problems that you are an expert on? List them out. This is the pillar. It's where you define what your topical authority is, the actual topic that you authority is. And then finally it brings us to pillar 4, which are your audience-centric entities. This final pillar, this is what can really separate a good entity strategy from a great one. The first 2 pillars were really focused on you. They're focused on what you sell, who you are, and what you know. This pillar is really focused entirely on your audience, and it defines what they care. And this is one I've talked about really for the past 2-3 years on this podcast. Understanding your audience, understanding the language they speak, questions they ask, and try to address their needs. And this means you to identify the entities that are most relevant to their interests, even if they aren't directly related to your product. So how do you find these? You've got to go and search for them, okay? You can go to online communities where your audience hang out, what they're talking about on Reddit and Quora, or in other industry forums. The topics of the discussions are your audience-centric entities. Go to Google, type in one of your core concept entities, and then scroll down to the people authorized box. Google's literally giving you a list of the related entities and questions your audience has. And obviously, a little tip, if you know a bit about me, if you've listened to the episodes at the end of this podcast, go to qspeopleuse.com, put in your core concept entity, you will get back a whole drilled down list of 30, 40 questions from those people authorized questions. We've also got the Google and Quora, the Reddit and Quora searches and various searches where you can find it. You can find those questions. So Curious People is perfect for this. Well, again, you don't have to use it. You can just implement it. And then finally, think about the pain points your customers have before they find you. So a company that sells project management software, they might find their audience is interested in activities like team productivity, combating burnout, and remote work best practices. So by creating content that addresses these audience-centric entities, you're going to meet your customers where they are. You're going to prove that you understand their world, not just your own. And this builds trust and it draws them into your universe long before they're ready to make a purchase. I'll take a few minutes to brainstorm some of the topics and concepts that matter most to your target audience. Okay? Do that research, find out the question they're asking. So that's all 4 pillars. Let's bring them together. So just as a reminder, we have number 1, the brand and product entities. So what you are and what you sell. Secondly, you have your people entities, who you are and who your experts are. And you've got your service and concept entities, what you know and the problems you solve. Fourthly, finally, you've got your audience-centric entities, what your audience cares about, questions that your audience trying to get answered, the problems they're trying to solve. And yeah, this brings us finally to your next steps for this week. So this is probably the most important piece of practical work I've suggested that you do so far, and that is always take that document or spreadsheet you built up while listening through this. And if you've just been doing it in your head as you go along, go back through, write all these down, get them on a spreadsheet, get them on a piece of paper, and then I want you to formalize it. Create 4 columns, 1 for each of your pillars. And your task is simple. Populate this list. Aim for at least 5 or 2 entities in each category to start with. Don't worry about getting it perfect. This is a document that's going to live and it's going to grow. But it's going to list your foundational blueprint. It's the strategic map of your entity landscape. Every piece of content you create, every page you optimize, every link you build from this point forward will be guided by this document. It will give you SEO efforts, clarity, and a focus that's impossible to achieve when all we do is just chasing keywords. That's it for today. In our next episode, we're going to put this blueprint into action. We're going to take your list of core entities and we're going to use it to find your competitors and do an analysis on them to reveal their strategies, their weaknesses, and the gaps in the market where you can compete and you can win. So that's it for today. So until next time, keep optimizing, stay curious, and remember SEO is not that hard when you understand the basics.
Thanks for listening. It means a lot to me. This is where I get to remind you where you can connect with me and my SEO tools and services. You can find links to all the links I mentioned here in the show notes. Just remember, with all these places where I use my name, the Ed is spelled with 2 Ds. You can find me on LinkedIn and Blue Sky. Just search for Ed Dawson on both. You can record a voice question to get answered on the podcast. The link is in the show notes. You can try our SEO intelligence platform, Keywords People Use, at keywordspeopleuse.com, where we can help you discover the questions and keywords people are asking online, cluster those questions and keywords into related groups so you know what content you need to build topical authority, and finally, connect your Google Search Console account for your sites so we can crawl and understand your actual content, find what keywords you rank for, and then help you optimize and continually refine your content with targeted, personalized advice to keep your traffic growing. If you're interested in learning more about me personally or looking for dedicated consulting advice, then visit www.eddawson.com. Bye for now, and see you in the next episode of SEO is Not That Hard.